Welcome to Often Pacing on Tab Radio Racing and Sport. Tim Walker will be joined by Matt Young and Oliver Cownie as they delve into the form for today's Pinjarra harness meeting, as well as an early look at tomorrow's meeting at Gloucester Park. We are Often Pacing.
Great to have your company on this Monday morning. Another busy edition of Often Pacing on the way as we work our way towards a really important Good Friday card here at Gloucester Park, our last free-for-all prior to the Nullabor, and we're going to have Andy Gath as a special guest on the program this morning as Catch a Wave prepares to come back to defend his title. So that is coming up very, very shortly. Stay tuned for that. He'll join us at around 20 minutes past 9 o'clock this morning, and then we're going to, prior to that, have a good look at what we've learned over the last few days, and that'll be with Matt Young and Ollie Cownie, who are standing by. Let's get to Matt Young first and foremost. Matt, a very good morning to you.
Good morning again, Tim. Good morning, Ollie, and everyone tuned in.
And great to have Ollie Cownie. You've been spoiled over the last couple of weeks. Had Matt in studio a few weeks ago, and you today, Ollie. Good morning to you. Great to see you.
Morning, Tim. Morning, Matt. Yeah, it's all my pleasure, Tim.
Great to have you in the studio ahead of a really important Friday night. Gents, there's so much to work through. I think there's a bit to digest out of the last couple of days, Matt. We'll start in particular with you because you were sitting in the chair that Ollie is right now on Friday morning, and we were getting the news that Magnificent Storm was out of the Governor's Cup, and then the thought was at the time that would therefore rule him out of the Nullabor. It's not all shut up shop yet. There's still a chance that he'll be there, but it was quite the Friday morning.
Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously most concerning for connections and everyone involved with Magnificent Storm that there's an issue and so close to the Nullabor, and as we said, the horse is obviously number one priority.
Yeah.
And the race comes second to that, and as long as he's okay and we can see him racing again soon, then sometimes sacrifices need to be made. So, it'll be sad to see him not there, but at the same token, I'm glad there's nothing all that serious from what we've been told, and hopefully we see him back sooner rather than later. And
Ollie, obviously it comes off the back of the news last week with Don Hugo. He's not going to be here, but probably not the greatest shock after what we saw in New Zealand.
No, I think after that run he had, it would have taken him a few weeks probably to get over that one, and he's a really nice horse, and he's had a really fantastic campaign. He's won some really big races, so I think they're just thinking about the horse's long-term future, give him a decent spell, and hopefully he can come back bigger and better next time.
All right, well, let's get stuck into Friday night and keeping in the Nullabor theme, just a word on the Governor's Cup. Matt, we'll get your thoughts firstly. There was obviously a golden ticket up for grabs here to the Fremantle Cup as well, of which we will have rankings for the Retrovision Fremantle Cup coming out later on today. And Mr. Smarty, he was already safely in the 12, but he's got the golden ticket now, and he got the job done there on Friday night after. It was interesting listening to Gary Hall Jr.'s commentary post-race after the Bunbury Cup. Just thought that maybe a little bit disappointing, the race which Magnificent Storm won. But what you saw here on Friday night, Matt?
Yeah, he was very good, 154. And look, he just looks to make it seem quite easy with the times that he can run. So it'd be a very scary horse to see in front in the Nullabor, that is for sure. I thought, he was well driven. Junior didn't really get involved too much too early, just let things unfold. There was a lot of, conjecture over who was going to lead. Otis had the speed, but there was going to be pressure from Mighty Conqueror and Sanglo Real, so Junior stayed out of that. Made the move shortly after the start. He stayed wide and then pushed forward once they'd made their decisions, and then got the top off Otis, and he was never going to lose once he found the lead. So, he's a very good horse, Mr. Smarty, and it was great to see him back in the winners list. I thought Otis was really good. It ended up being a pegs race, but Otis just continues to dazzle and impress. He's just a classic horse of throw him in the deep end and free fall and see how he goes, and I think he's in career best form right now.
Yeah, that he certainly is. Ollie, what did you make of the $50,000 feature?
Oh, just echo Matt's thoughts pretty much. It really did look his race on paper, Mr. Smarty, after the scratching of Magnificent Storm in the morning, but the way it panned out, I don't think anyone ever would have thought he'd be beaten once he found the front, and he was really impressive. He zipped home a really sharp last half, and it was 27.8 and then a 27.2 on the way home, which could have been even faster, really. I think if it had been asked for the supreme effort. As Matt mentioned, just a pegs race from there. So I think anything that was off the pegs back in the field really just had no chance there and can be forgiven for their efforts. So I wouldn't be taking too much out of that race, put it that way.
Was there enough in what Just Call Me Mickey did to suggest that he would be capable of measuring up in the Nullabor if indeed he fills one of the two slots which are to be filled by Greg and Sky Bond runners? Of course, Minstrel's locked into the race already, but with the withdrawal of Don Hugo, and we know Team Bond have got their own slot, he's a sports in the mix. Is there enough from what Just Call Me Mickey did to suggest he could play a part?
Oh, absolutely. I think this horse is just completely untapped. He's just a really real talent, and we haven't seen the bottom of him yet. I think he's just done everything so easily. He found the front in a few of the early races, and sort of you could question maybe where his bottom is, but on Friday he sat outside a really nice horse in Menemshire, and he did it easy. So I think he'd be a fantastic selection for any of the slot holders.
All right. Well, Matt, let's get into some horses to follow from Friday night before we get Ollie's three. So you first.
Yeah, I thought on the meeting, Akushla McCree in the first race did a power of work in the breeze up outside Matamagi and wasn't beaten all that far. It was just once she wasn't able to hit the rail, it got increasingly harder. But I just thought improvement from first run to second was noticeable, and I think if she can improve again, I don't think she needs to improve again to win a race soon, but I'm expecting her to be very hard to beat next time we see her step out. I thought Great Bold in a race that was devoid of any pressure. For him to get as close as he did was outstanding. He's a horse that's always going to draw 9. He's just a lifetime ADM horse, and he's going to run into a few of those problems, I guess you could say, with tempo-related defeats in his races. But his run on Friday night was first class, and Princess Katie, I thought she was really good in Open Mare's company. She's taken a big leap forward in this preparation to be as talented as she is. And then on Friday night, I thought she was outstanding again. So, she goes into the black book as well. So Akushla McCree, Great Boulder, and Princess Katie.
Ollie, I think you're singing from the same hymn sheet with Akushla McCree.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought she was fantastic there on Friday. She did all the work, as Matt mentioned, and she was still fighting them off at the finish, and it looked like just past the line she came back and was in front of Sweet Vivian again. So it really was a fantastic effort, and the last half there was still pretty sharp, 56.9. So I think there was plenty of merit in that run. Lion Queen, really, really nice horse on return, and she's certainly a good measure for where Akushla McCree is at, and I think she's a nice horse, and next time she leads, she'll be really, really hard to beat. In the second race, I thought a horse that ended up being well beaten was Franco Encore, but I thought there was plenty of merit to the run. He went forward outside Madame Publisher, who's a really nice horse in her own right, and he looked to be over-racing, pulling quite badly, and you thought maybe after watching him do that he'd drop right out of it, but he was only beaten 18 metres, and in the end they ran really fast time. They ran 1:55.5, so I thought there was plenty to take out of that run, and if he does find the front in a race like this very soon, he'll take plenty of beating. The last horse I had to follow was out of race 7. I thought one that was well beaten, actually ran second last, Paul Edward. I thought he was actually really good there. He locked wheels at a crucial stage with Rolling Fire, and that just halted all momentum. The winner of that race was Just Call Me Mickey, who's a really, really nice horse. As we mentioned, could be a potential Nullabor runner. So Paul Edward following them around in behind them, I thought there was still plenty to take out of that run, and if he's able to draw well soon, I think he can win a race.
All right, so there's the 3 horses to follow from Matt and Ollie. So for Ollie, Akushla McCree, Franco Encore and Paul Edward. Matt going with 3 there in Akushla McCree, Great Boulder and Princess Katie. Let's turn our attention to today, and Ollie, you're not going to waste any time. Straight to the opener, and we can start off the day, and favourite punters as well can start off on the right note.
Yeah, he's certainly a short price favourite, Feeling Aces, but he only needs to replicate a recent effort over the stand start 3 starts ago, where he was really dominant there. He stepped away really nicely at this track. He led, and he had Titan Robin on his back, who looks like one of the main dangers here, and he beat him by 10 metres. So I think all things being equal, if he does everything right, he should lead and he should win that race. In race 4, I thought there was one here that was pretty good value in the early stages of betting. I thought Era looked a really good chance in this race. It's always a little bit interesting, these concession driver races. Sometimes they tend to go a little bit harder in other races, and if Era goes back, say for one run at them, got a really, really nice sprint, this horse, so I think could potentially come over the top and looks a really good each-way angle in that race. I think, it looks a really good chance, so happy to play that way. And then the last one I was keen to have a look at Pinjarra was in the next race, in race 5. I thought Ultra Allure just looked really well in this race, and despite the back row draw, the outside back row draw should just be really, really hard to beat. This is certainly easier than some of the mares races she's been taking on, and there could be some early tempo as well that goes along to further suit her case, and I think she'll prove really hard to beat in that race.
All right, so that is Feeling Aces, Era and Ultra Allure for Ollie. And Matt, you're going to race number 2 and forecasting that could be a big day, of course, for the Belton team.
Yeah, I really like Lady De La Hoya. I thought this horse gets in really well here in the gate speed. The third on return was really good, and this is a drop in grade. I thought she was a multi-builder, Lady De La Hoya. I thought she would charge across, probably lead this, and from there would win. So race 2, number 6, Lady De La Hoya to win. Race 4, number 5, I agree with Ollie about his selection Era on an each-way basis. Don't agree on the map, though. I had this horse nearly leading in this race, and from there I thought would run a really strong race. Has got a lot of high speed. I thought they might try and use it at the start, though. So race 4, number 5, Era each way. Either way, I think Era will run a good race. And race 6, I thought, one to including your multis was number 11, Princess Katie. She made it in the Black Book on Friday. I love that she's on the back up from Friday to today. This looks a big drop in grade, and I think she can get the job done. So races 2 and 6 to win with Lady De La Hoya and Princess Katie, and race 4 each way Era.
All right, so that is for Matt there today at Pinjarra. Now, we turn our attention to Gloucester Park, a little boutique meeting tomorrow night. Matt, we'll let you keep rolling because you're going to play the early part of the program.
Yeah, absolutely. I found the meeting a little bit tricky to try and work through, because there are a couple of really open races in the event. But look, I'm going to work on race number 1 that I thought Switchblade could run a really good race and represented a bit of each way value potentially in the event. So race 1, number 5, Switchblade, I thought was each way into nothing. And in race number 3, I was really keen on Frankie J. Holden. He's just been racing in tremendous form, and I can see him being driven like the best horse again, and I thought he'd get the job done. So race 3, number 5, Frankie J. Holden the win, and race 1, number 5, Switchblade each way. All
right, it's the second half of the program for you, Ollie.
Yeah, I was keen to kick things off in race 4. It looks a really nice little race with this one. It looks like there's a few chances. We've got Long Reach Bay, who's been in career best form. Como El Viento's come back nice, and the one I'm keen to go with is Lord Titanium. He was taken back at the last start on a Friday, and he just couldn't quite get into that race. He ran 6, but there was still plenty to take out of that run, and I thought he still went quite well. And in this race, he could just be sat up for one run at them, and I think there might be plenty of speed on with a few gate speed horses out wide. So if that's the case, 1 by 3 Lord Titanium, I think he should be right in the finish there. So keen to play that way, and then I'm off to the next race, race 5, Blazing Reactor. Keen to go with this horse in this race. Has the barrier draw advantage over what looks to be the only rival really in this race that can challenge him, Mickey's Beach. They're both really nice horses, but as I said, the barrier draw advantage goes to Blazing Reactor, and this horse is just incredibly fast. So I think if it's able to get to the front and control things, should prove extremely hard to beat there, and looks a really nice horse going forward.
All right, so that is Lord Titanium on the 1 by 3 basis, Blazing Reactor as well for Ollie, Switchblade each way, and Frankie J. Holden for Matt. Now, Matt, today, Pinjarra, Racing WA Harness, X Page, the place to be for all of the interviews prior to the feature, the feature 7 races down there to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely, and should be a good competitive meeting, so thank you very much, boys.
Go well there is Matt Young. And Ollie, thanks for joining us in the studio, and hopefully we can do this again soon. You'll be part of the outside broadcast on Nullabor night as well. We're looking forward to having you a part of our coverage on that evening.
Thanks, Tim. Really looking forward to it.
There is Ollie Cownie and Matt Young. We'll take a very short break. Andy Gath will join us next.
Western Race Picks provide photography services to the WA racing industry, covering all race meetings at Ascot, Belmont and most provincial and country race meetings, with our catalogue extending back to mid-2014. We do all the design, printing and framing of our products in-house and pride ourselves on providing high-quality products in a timely manner. We also service the local breeding industry, specialising in yearling and stallion photography. We have a new website which allows people to purchase and download low-resolution digital images for your social media. You can also view our entire library of photos, as well as order your framed memorabilia products. Go to westernracepix.com. That's westernracepix.com.
They are Often Pacing on Tab Radio, Racing and Sport.
It is great to have your company. We are just 11 days away from the Nullabor and obviously 18 days away from the Fremantle Cup. And what better time than to check in with the trainer of the defending champ of both races in Catch a Wave. And it's great to have Andy Gath with us on the line. Andy, a very good morning to you.
No, good morning, Tim.
Great to have you on the program. Are you looking forward to getting back west?
Oh, no doubt. You know, it was a great experience last time. You know, it was probably added a bit more by winning both the races, but even if we didn't win, I think we would have been heading back. It was such an enjoyable carnival, so looking forward to it. Just take us into the negotiations and how they played out with the Ram boys and how easy it was then to commit to teaming up with them for this year's edition. Yeah, obviously, you know, we had Regency Foods last year and disappointed for them. You know, Magnificent Storm hurt himself and unfortunately for them again, he's on a miss again. So, you know, you've sort of been... no, like Rob Tomlinson with E-slots. So we sort of, you know, we sort of always keen to go, but didn't seem to be many slots available. But I think Lavra Joe, he went a miss and, you know, we heard that slot become available. So got in contact with the Rams group and, yeah, they were keen to take us on and we're keen to get over there. Obviously, they've had a lot of success as well over here in slot races, particularly on the thoroughbred front. And in terms of, without going into specifics, but the deal that is done, are they very, very easy to work with? It's a straightforward process from your perspective? Yeah, no, it was pretty well straightforward. Yeah, he sort of negotiated with the Matthews family, so yeah, I sort of stayed out of it. But yeah, there were just probably a couple of little issues that they worked on, but in the end, both parties are pretty happy where we're at, and yeah, hopefully we can have a bit of success together. What's the importance that you place on having been here before, having had the good experience last year, not just for yourself and Kate, but also the horse and coming back here a second time around? Yeah, obviously, we're very wary going there. You know, it's very difficult for any Eastern State horse to go over there and perform well. So, yeah, we'll sort of going over there with our eyes closed a little bit. We didn't know, you know, we were fortunate we were able to stay with Greg and Sky Bond and it's a wonderful setup and didn't really know what training facilities were going to have in front of us and what type of setup and everything and whether you'd handle the track, and Kate's never driven there before. So, yeah, obviously we're going over there a lot more prepared and sort of know what's in front of us. But, yeah, we've probably got stiffer competition too again this year. We're aware of that. But I think my bloke's a little bit better than he was this time last year as well. So, you know, time will tell. I was just going to ask that. You feel like you've got a better product this time around, and clearly he's gone on winning feature races since then and had the trip to New Zealand in between. So you feel you've got a better product this time? Yeah, I think when he came back from Perth, we gave him a little bit of a break, and his next preparation, he was just sort of off a bit. He did win a Lens Smith Mile in that time, and, you know, he was sort of placing a Group 1 race in New Zealand, but he was never quite at his best. So, yeah, once he had a break from New Zealand, come back this time in, you know, we've found that he's been, yeah, that's a little bit sharper and all these runs have been a lot more consistent. So, yeah, we think he's better anyway. Okay, and boarding the plane tonight, and then is it very much the same setup? You've got a chance to stay down at Greg and Sky's facility? Yeah. So he gets in probably, I took him up to Sydney yesterday. He flies out of Sydney tonight and probably arrives, by the time he gets to Greg and Sky's place, you know, probably be about midnight Perth time. So, you know, it's still a bit of a grueling trip to get him there, and it did take a little bit out of him last time, but, you know, his horse got a pretty good constitution. So, yeah, you know, we're looking for, you know, we'll probably race him again Friday, nominated for Friday at Gloucester Park, and have a lead-up race as well with him. So, yeah, so we're just sort of going to go hopefully down the same track as we did last year. Yeah, I was just going to ask that question as well. So Friday night we will see him, and the importance of having that run
on the Friday meeting, and he hit the line really well. Ran fourth over here last year, his first look at Gloucester Park. And would it be an ideal world that, obviously pre-barrier draws we're talking here, but an ideal world, something similar, just have him hitting the line and really just capping him off beautifully for Friday week?
Yeah, definitely. He's what most good horses, they take a fair amount of work, and with the travelling, with he won't do much. His last fast work was on Saturday, so he's going to have a pretty easy time between now and Friday. Just it's more maintenance and getting him over the trip. So he's going to lead that run, and that run will hopefully top him off for the following weeks. You
touched on the quality of the field. Clearly this time last week we still had Don Hugo and Magnificent Storm in the picture. Now there is still an outside chance Magnificent Storm could feature, but this year with Swayze coming across and Mr. Smarty's the new kid on the block, he wasn't there last year. Minstrel's still the same old Minstrel, except he's a Pacing Cup winner and an Inter-Dominion runner-up this time around. How good is this race still going to be, even though there are some names missing?
Oh, no, it's a quality race, and probably enhances my horses' winning chances, the better the quality horses are. We've sort of shown that, early on in his career, he was sort of able to lead and sort of get things done. For some reason, he sort of lost his gate speed and that, but he can follow any speed and he can still sprint off it. So, so we're not too reliant on barrier draws. It's more reliant on what our competition draws more than anything. And, Hawley and Swayze and Grimmo, they've been having a decent chat heading into this race. And, I think it's great band and great rivalry too. So, Swayze's a fantastic horse, and it's great to have him over there. You might think you got him beat, but you got to beat him. There's that many times he looks beat and he just fights back and beats you. And I'm sure it'll be a race of attrition. And that suits Mitchell down to the ground too. He's a horse that won't give up. He's so strong and tough. And Mr. Smarty's got all the class in the world. He hasn't. He's probably not quite seasoned as the others are. But if he drew and got on the fence, they're going to take a decent horse to beat him.
Exactly right. So just listening to you there, it feels like Swayze's the one to beat.
I definitely. He's won 2 New Zealand Cups. He's won a Hunter Cup, Victoria Cup. He's swept through and won all those cups. He was unlucky in the Miracle Mile. He held up there. I know he got beat last week, but I wouldn't read too much into that. He's such a tough horse, and they'll all be tired on the line with him in the race.
Absolutely, and hopefully for your sake it can be Catch a Wave that is flashing home. You just mentioned the war of words there. It has been quite interesting to watch all of that play out between Gary Hall Jr. and obviously Jason Grimson had his say as well, and he felt that it was only Minstrel of the locals. Obviously, it is good for the publicity of the race. Is that one that you're happy to just sit out, though, and just observe from afar and just go about your business quietly?
Yeah, no, we like to go under the radar if we can possibly. We're happy to do interviews and everything, but not a sort of our go. But but we do love it, and they're both, they're both great for the sport. They've both got fantastic records. What Jason's done in a short space of time, and there's no better driver than Junior, as we know, in Australasia, and his big race record is unbelievable. So it just adds to the race and adds to the spice of the race. But Gloucester Park racing so competitive, and even if you're sort of not in the market, you're still a winning chance. You'd be 3 fence there and sort of get out the right time. You're still a winning hope, no matter what price you are in my mind.
Absolutely. Andy Gath is with us on the program. So, Andy, just one very quick one before we do let you go. We can absolutely lock you in for the Fremantle Cup. We're going to get a third set of rankings today where last time out Catch a Wave was number 5. Obviously a couple of golden ticket winners, but absolutely locked in and committed for the week after as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. Everything's been in place for him to have the 3 runs over there. So hopefully, he can pick up one of them. Not too cared about the one on Friday. One of the other ones would be a bit better, financially wise. But looking forward to it. As you're part of it, to have the 3 codes or having their slot races on the same sort of time. It just enhances the product, I think, for everyone. And it's such a great idea. And it's great to be part of it.
It'll be great to have you over here. You've got a flight to catch you. Is that one that is going to bring you to Perth? Is that right?
Yes, yeah. So, I think it leaves about 12:15 this time. And, I've got 20 days over there. So if you can put the weather on for me like you did last time, I'll appreciate it.
Mostly sunny, mid to high 20s all week. Is that good enough? Is that all right?
Yeah, no, I'll survive. It's actually been quite warm in Melbourne, believe it or not. So,
Right.
So I might have to go down a few degrees.
Yeah, bring a jumper. All the very best. All the very best, Anthony. It'll be great to have yourself, Kate, and also Catch a Wave back in town. And let's hope that you can defend the titles, and it'll be some sort of a party. I hope you're ready for that, because the Rams, they certainly know how to party.
Yeah, I think they're fitting me up for a cowboy hat as well, so that'll be good.
It'll look good. It'll look the part. All the best, Andy.
Thanks, team.
There is Andy Gath with us on the program. Great to get an update on Catch a Wave and really set the scene for this Friday night. First and foremost, he's going to do exactly what he did last year, Catch a Wave, and that is have a look around Gloucester Park the week before the Nullabor. We're just 11 days away from our $1.25 million feature. Of course, next Monday, with it being Easter Monday, we won't have the opportunity to have Often Pacing, but we'll see if we can work something and maybe get a show on Tuesday morning following the Quokka and Karrakatta plate barrier draws, which will be here on Tab Radio. So we'll keep you informed with that. In the meantime, a big thanks to Ollie and Matt from earlier on joining us. Good luck if you're having a bet down there at Pinjarra today. Hopefully you can find one. And also Gloucester Park here tomorrow night. Have a safe weekend over the Easter long weekend, and look forward to your company again here soon on Tab Radio.
What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelpline.org.au.